Phil believed life worked best when nothing was left to chance. Every morning at exactly 6 a.m., his alarm rang. By 6:05, he was out of bed. By 6:30, he was sipping coffee while reviewing the carefully organized calendar on his laptop. Every hour had a purpose. Every week had a goal. Every year had a plan. Phil often said, "Success isn't luck, it's planning." Phil planned everything: his education, his career, even where he expected to be 10 years from now. To Phil, life was simple. If you worked hard, if you planned carefully, the results would follow. Life, he believed, was like a machine. Arrange the parts correctly, and the outcome would always be predictable. One Monday morning, Phil walked into the office, feeling certain about his future. For weeks, he had prepared for an important presentation. A promotion was coming, and Phil believed he had earned it. His presentation was flawless. The numbers were strong, the strategy was clear, everything had been planned perfectly. A few days later, his manager called him into the office. Phil sat down confidently, almost expectant, but the words he heard next were not part of his plan. The promotion went to someone else, someone younger, someone unexpected. Confused and frustrated, Phil turned to something he believed he could control: investing. He researched markets for hours, studied trends, calculated risks. But only days after making his largest investment, the market shifted. The numbers on his screen slowly turned red. Another perfect plan undone. Phil couldn't make sense of what just happened. How did his meticulous planning fail? One evening, exhausted from trying to understand everything, Phil went for a walk. For once, he had no destination, no schedule, no plan. As the sun began to set, he sat quietly on a park bench. Nearby, children were flying kites in the evening wind. One boy pulled the string tightly, trying to control every movement. The kite dipped and struggled in the sky. Another child held the string more gently, letting the wind guide it. That kite rose higher and higher. Phil watched silently, and for the first time in a long while, he stopped trying to control everything. Over the following weeks, something slowly changed. Phil still worked hard. He still made plans, but he stopped expecting life to follow his script perfectly. When a colleague invited him to join a new project, something completely outside his plans, Phil paused, and this time, he said yes. Months later, that unexpected project led to work Phil had never imagined, work he enjoyed far more than the path he had carefully planned. One evening, he returned to the same park bench. The wind moved softly through the trees. Phil smiled. For years, he had believed life was something you could control completely, but now he understood something different. You can choose your actions, you can prepare and do your best, but life, like the wind, will always move in its own direction, and sometimes the best destinations are the ones you never planned.